Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive.
Uh-huh.
This time we're going to be looking at something a little bit different.
Yeah, it should be fun.
It's a blog post from way back in 2011 called Nonfiction Book Marketing Tips. Learn from the Tick.
The tech.
The Tick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So someone sent this in.
Yeah, I found it. I was like, this has to be good.
Yeah, I mean, marketing tips from a superhero.
What could go wrong?
So we thought let's dive into this and see what kind of unexpected wisdom we can pull out of this.
Sounds good.
So first up, what really struck me was that even though this post is, over a decade old now, a lot of this stuff still really holds up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think part of what makes it work so well is how Spence uses these clips from the animated The Tick Show to illustrate her points. It's not just dry marketing theory. She's bringing in this fun pop culture element.
Yeah, and it makes it memorable.
Yeah.
Like, I actually found myself thinking about these things later on, like when I was working on a project. And one of the first things that really jumped out at me was this concept of the origin story.
Oh, yeah.
How everyone has kind of a unique path that led them to where they are.
Right, like a superhero's backstory.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But instead of, superpowers and secret identities, it's those defining moments and experiences that shaped your expertise.
And I think what Spence is getting at is the importance of weaving that narrative into how you present yourself.
So not just listing your credentials, but sharing the journey that makes those credentials meaningful.
Yeah. Give your audience a reason to connect with you on a deeper level.
Like, here's why I'm passionate about this. And here's how my experience can benefit you.
Exactly.
Now, the Tick is all about action, right? And Spence ties that in beautifully to her next point about giving your audience clearer takeaways.
Yeah. It's not enough to just share information. You need to empower your audience to act on it. Like, what concrete steps can someone take after reading your book or attending your workshop or even just listening to this deep dive?
Turning insight into action.
Exactly.
Providing those aha moments, but also showing the path forward. And I love how Spence connects the ticks, those memorable catchphrases, to the idea of having a battle cry for your work.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. So it's like distilling your message down to a clear, standout concept that people instantly associate with you.
Your unique selling proposition, but with a superhero twist.
Exactly. I like it.
Okay, so if my work is helping people navigate this deep dive,
Okay.
maybe my battle cry could be unpacking knowledge one fascinating source at a time. A little cheesy, but you get the idea.
That's actually pretty good.
Really?
I like it. See, you're already putting this into practice.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, maybe.
And that's what's so great about Spence's approach. She gives you this framework, but you get to fill in the specifics based on your own unique goals.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Nope. It's about finding what works for you and your audience.
Well, speaking of battle cries, remember the flying squirrel?
Oh, yeah. How could I forget?
And Spence uses her to highlight the importance of embracing your quirks.
Right, because she's all about squirrels.
Yeah, like that's her thing. And it's what makes her unique. So Spence is saying that the things that make you different, the things that might even seem a little weird, those are often your biggest assets.
Like your superpower.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if someone's super passionate about, I don't know, let's say collecting vintage vacuum cleaners,
Okay.
that could actually be their marketing goldmine.
Absolutely. Because it's a unique selling point. It's something that sets them apart from everyone else who's just talking about, generic cleaning tips.
It's about owning what makes you you.
Exactly. And letting that enthusiasm shine through.
Which brings us to Mr. Exciting.
Oh boy, talk about enthusiasm.
Right, he takes it to a whole other level.
But that's the point. Spence is using him to illustrate this idea of controlled enthusiasm.
Yeah, because you don't want to go full Mr. Exciting and scare everyone away.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance.
Like, you want to be passionate and engaging, but you also don't want to overwhelm people with information.
Right. It's got to be digestible. You need to give people those aha moments.
But then give them time to process those moments.
And this is where pacing comes in.
Oh, yeah. Like giving people those little breaks, those pauses for reflection.
Because even the most exciting information needs to be presented in a way that people can absorb.
And this is something that Spence actually talks about throughout the post.
Right. It's not just about individual points. It's about the overall structure of your message.
Yeah. Like thinking about how you're guiding your audience through the information.
Exactly. Because even the Tick, as wacky as he is, he has a method to his madness.
He breaks down his superhero lessons in a way that actually makes sense.
Yeah, he's got a plan. He's not just randomly throwing out ideas.
And I think that's a really important takeaway for anyone who's trying to get their message across.
Whether you're writing a book, giving a presentation, or even just having a conversation.
You need to have a structure, a flow, something that helps people follow along.
And make sense of what you're saying.
This is not just what you say.
Right.
It's how you say it.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Now, I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think people should go read Spence's post for themselves.
Oh, yeah. It's worth a read for sure. Even just for the entertainment value.
But before we move on, I did want to touch on one more thing that really stood out to me.
Okay. What's that?
So Spence talks about how the tick is always out there, fighting crime.
Right. He's not just sitting around waiting for the villains to come to him.
Exactly. And she connects that to the need for authors to be proactive about marketing their books.
Like, you got to go out and find your audience.
Yeah. Don't just wait for them to find you.
And I think that's a really empowering message. It's like taking control of your own destiny.
Instead of just hoping for the best.
Right. And it ties back to that idea of action that we were talking about earlier.
Like the tick doesn't just talk about being a superhero, he goes out and does it.
Exactly. And authors need to do the same thing with their books.
Get out there and make things happen.
Now, I know we've thrown a lot of information at you today.
It's a lot to process.
It is, but I think it's important to remember that you don't have to do everything all at once.
Right. Take it one step at a time.
Yeah. Find one thing that resonates with you and start there.
And remember, it's all about finding what works for you.
There's no one-size-fits-all approach to marketing.
So experiment, have fun, and don't be afraid to embrace your inner superhero.
I love that. Embrace your inner superhero.
Oh, I think it's a perfect note to end on.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Carma Spence's brilliant blog post.
It was a fun one.
It really was. Remember, learning can be found in the most unexpected places, even in a superhero cartoon from over a decade ago.
Absolutely.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and never underestimate the power of a good story.
Well said.
Until next time, happy learning.